Tata, the Samdang Jason, the Legends of Google Song, young Tomo Bani Pasi, Yorikan, Tatango Soshina, Sambata Kiki, go to Pato, something GS. Then something you Kakaris. Sambata driven, you get territory, Sambata driven, you get it, you get Archibald. Sambata driven, you get Totata driven, the Sambata driven, you get Archibald. So the Sambata driven, you get carried to the Samotama Bene, the train shipper, train Zoa, the little Gigi, you get it, Sambata driven, you get it, the Sambati owner. Rangi, you get somebody in Mata, you get set around your race. Penna, the magic pola, somebody or us, or Nagapo, the Tomani, they take now on somebody, that is the Bejerla, there is Tamarbatam, that is the Bejerla, there is somebody who goes to your. They were Tomani, Yungti Jayon, Jung Check Lado Yoris. Jung Check carry that. Teachung carry that is on your tell something on Yin Dama Yungri. Pero putting to Pajana, now put it up with Yin poetry, control of Yori. Take it to somebody, Yungti Yin. Corvus Savadella, that sort in a Yungti Jung Yoris. Now what you look at that, you carry. Ni bola tene ma na khasa nya be sen chin sam je ji wa nga sen ngo twe che ne sai phama ma je wa kang ma je wa te do tik dang ti yong ma ngo twe che ne tere sa ba che mi ba ji ge yo le sa ba che mi ba ji wa te tene yin sa ba che mi ba ji ge yo sa na ma ri de rang so da ri che rang sa ba che mi ba ji rang sen de sa ba cha da je le te da chap ro yo le che Tertini, yes, oh, that I'm saying, Jacapti there, Jacapti Ragativa, so she Jacapti Tiauna, the Yin Jacaptilla, Patsua chat of glory, Jacapti chat of glory. There was the Chinatini, Jacap the Pigo, Jacap the Garden Chibori, son, Jacapti the seven of such a child with a Chowak. David Man, no father never sent me some children, or that inside is a quarter woman, no one young woman. They went to the somebody, he did. Then he jack up the Garchen, Leziba, some person, oh, the Hamata is a tailor of Tonto. Person, men are carrying with you. Person, one of that, oh, person, not dong, so the person, the military carried. That Jawakuma, Shame Watatu, Lakaredo. Policy to go with don't something, Policy Passamachi. The machine, Policy Saki or Kashig. Ya, there's something some of them. That is was in the great. Just Policy Mogo, some teachers on young days, traumatic days. That's the policy made Yager. The called the Dodger days, Homary. Theater was somewhat Sambata driven, Sambata at the home, Pama, then he gigi, then he jack up. Then he zabbered jack up time to the Samotona, tickle Samotona, young something goes to tickle to the dancing, then he lie over your head. Don't let the numbers Haji, but somebody, save me party. Still at anything, Niji, Ram Jingi, your penna. The Rosok Chatam, Pama, they were checked on Mason, Bella. The also China Leona, Lamsa control. Pama Mativa, your Marison, Lamsa control me by our root to go might. But it's a several Towachi, Shetan Lamsa, Pan Royori, Theater Towachi, when it's somebody say me about the Tantana, there is somebody drinking around Yungori, they had to hit Chimbori, then just this one was on somebody in Yugori.
So we have been talking about love and compassion, and regarding that, actually there is a special instruction by Chigden Sumgun, and so that instruction is given because some of us often think that the love and compassion are equivalent. They're the same thing. But actually, that's really not the case. There's actually a difference there. And so what we want to develop, what is really precious, is that compassion that is infused with love. And if compassion is not infused with love, then that kind of compassion often becomes infused with attachment or desire. So the compassion that is infused with love is really precious. And if we have that kind of love as a basis, then we will be able to recognize the kindness of others, and also we have a wish to repay their kindness. So when love is there as a basis, then compassion will naturally arise from that. Just like when the sun is shining, the sun is like love, then naturally light rays emerging from that sun, which is like compassion. For example, a mother loves her child, right? So that's, we understand. But then there is some kind of fixation here. For ordinary people, they would then think that this is my child. So we think that this is mine. It's an object of ours that belongs to the I. And when that is the basis, then even though there is love, the mother of course loves the child, but it's based on this I, this self-clinging, then even 100 qualities, 100 good qualities are lost through a single fault. That single fault is the self, that I. And so you have love, you love certain beings or objects that you claim to be yours, but then that also leads to an aversion against others. For example, if your child is having a fight with another child, then immediately you will take sides and protect your own child and get angry at the other child. So in our samsaric activities, the self is most important, and that is what makes all good qualities become a fault. And so that is what we are introduced to when we in Buddhism as an antidote to that fault. We have to bring to mind all mother sentient beings. And so for that, to understand that, we are introduced to the truth of past and future lives. And then we train our mind by bringing to mind anyone that we love, and then recognizing that every being is just like that. Every being has been that in a previous life. And in that way, immeasurable love will arise. And so when you think in this way, now when you think that I care about others, then you might think that care for others is for their sake. But actually it is for your own sake. It is your own greatest benefit, really. Because when you love others, and the more you love others, the more your mind will open up and become pervasive. For example, if you love your country, then it is also necessary to not just limit that love to your country, but to think that may all countries be well and happy. May it be good in every country. So that's important. So when that thought arises, a real feeling should arise in your mind, a real feeling of really wishing that. Otherwise, if we just recite something verbally and say all mother sentient beings and so on, then we might feel that this is how it should be, this is how I should think, but it is just a thought then, just an understanding, but not an actual feeling, not an actual experience. So for this reason, it is important to really reflect on that. So when you develop such love, then compassion naturally arises. For example, in a country, then you would feel grateful towards everything in your country. For example, the government officials or the police force and so on. You would see them all as your parents, because you would know how would it be without the police, for example. If somebody hits you, you can call the police. But how would it be if there wouldn't be any police? Then what about all those other people who lack any intelligence and who go around robbing others and stealing from others and so on? So when you see that, you will really feel love for the police. And then there are still some who just don't understand that, and they get angry at the police and they even kill the police officers. So then you could say to that, and then if you think that this is the right way, then go ahead. And if you don't think you need police, then maybe all of you who think we don't need police, you should all get together and live together without police, without protection, and see how that will go. Probably you will not be able to stay even for 1 month. So what's important is now to develop that kind of compassion that is infused with love. And that love arises when we remember the kindness of first of all, our parents, and then our teachers, and then our countries, and all of the countries. So if the moment you think of, the moment you just wish for the happiness of your own country, but you are resentful towards another country, you have already lost your love. So the Buddhist love is immeasurable, and that means for everyone. And when that arises, then from that immeasurable love, then compassion naturally arises. And so the way you cultivate is that you whoever you meet, whatever being you meet, you think that this has been my parent. For example, an animal. Normally, if we don't know that, when we see a little insect, for example, immediately we feel angry. We feel like a resentment against it. But then if you know that this also has been my parent, then you will be able to be patient with it. And so then through that feeling of knowing that this has been my parent, then the resentment, the aversion against it instantly will dissolve. So this kind of feeling of love has to arise. And then from that feeling of immeasurable love, compassion will naturally arise. So this is really extremely important. And this is what really Chigten Sumgön is saying here. It is that the kind of compassion that you need to develop is the compassion that is infused with love.
다지 니케네 잔이니 밤이 바삼로 땅나 오 다들 니 통주 자체를 지양하마 이거 자체 니케 생도 말티니 대저하레스 대 심지 탐치대 파마마지라가 연진의 소트들이 파마 뭐 강나 지야는 제가 마지막 직경매 봐 삼나 들리지 다리 파시 쪽 따다 창거요래 뭐로 창거요래 들리 제외를 들리다다 대네 맞잖아 사마세비 받을 사마시나 들리 다톡 시랍 창거요 말에 시랍지 봐 강래 다지 님에 봐 가시 다지 인 통화될 때 내가 참아들이 파마에서 직장매 봐 삼나스니 때에 다 시랍을 들이 사바세미 봐 다진이 소리때 먹게 되더니 생기 탐지랑 그 강가 찌아요 봐 대다 맞지고 직장매에서 빼는 뽀지를 갈아들 때나 야 단잡을 링게 생기 소차 탐지 뭐 보게 되는지 맞지고 직장 연말에 남수지나 그 생기 탐지 이제 막 나와 대더라 수남 충충 깨기들 빼수는 셈이 받지 더고 수남시 받으랑 셈을 대다ವೆ 오 잡을 링게 생기 탐지 생긴 좋은 거래. 뒤쪽도 생기 나지 시건 거래. 좋아요 때문에 하작 같이 하래. 그때가 삼바체비 봐. 하고 뭐 탑let을 있다가 우리 이제 뭐 내려 지왕 앞에 대하고나들이 님 카세하나 기더니 나지 이메와. 들이랑 그 약합 선앙에 나온다. 들이랑 그 다니 강하에 나온더니 dra zo chile te ta dang zi dra shi ba de dra de yin je dang de zi ta dra cha de yo le pe ka ri na ta pama je chi bo ma sang chi bo ka she ge bo tang chi ge pama sa de yo ma pama jin kang ba de pe sha la ha top ja 다 같이 작아요. 대지 파마지 생각할 상도 호호 나라 상태면 고생은 강바다 배샤쪽을 하서 저로 호소 싸움이 뭐 잡발랑네 나도 배샤데 차다 힘을 쬐고 어떻게 볼을 쬐면서 이슬람이 망보요래 제 탐지 싸는 것도 삐 마체딘 배바서 오면 손을 맞이 찌어를 체람 명보라더니 세상은 야베 자사 생각들이 여라가 자사 또 먹고도 저자 내 성수는 파봐서 봐 문에 저거로 싸는 것도 대서 놓아쳐 보요래 답이 출했더니 오나 노성스 다 거기서 갈치를 칠스 오 거기서 냐바지 제거랬지 됐다 왔더니 다당이란 게 뭐냐 전내로 또 쳐보면 야 다가 진짜면 자칼을 빼주고 삼월 팽그레스 같이 자칼을 펴거려 아주 약실이 잡다라 펄 미강라 펄 됐다 왔더니 출신이 되게 됐다 왔 싸먹었다네 더니 제베요 봐 참 망보르더니 소남 그지 제가 파라드스 봐요. 대다 팽기요래. 삼바가 윤띠 대다가 삼바 마시비 좀 삼바 체비가 마시비 좀 다리 대다가 연구요래. 좀 것이 가가시네. 들이다 나봐 사집에 따와대 자치 뭐이 봐. 들이네 하고 터고요래. 들때면서 삼바가 놓고로 애들이 자송을 해서
So in the samsaric state, then there's a family. We have families and we love our families. We love our children, for example. And so that kind of love must be transformed. It must be transformed into bodhicitta, into the path that leads to bodhicitta. And so, first of all, for the time being, when we see still a duality of self and other, first of all, we need to understand that enemies and friends are actually uncertain, even now in this life, actually. And so who is our friend now has been maybe an enemy in a previous life, and who is an enemy now was a friend before. And even in this life, it changes momentarily depending on the way we see things in our mind. But ultimately, then, every being has been our parent in a previous life on the relative level. And for this reason, we have to think about their good qualities of having been our parents. So you bring to mind the love that you have for whoever you love, your parents and your children and so on, and then think that every being has been that in a previous life. And if you feel such love for them, then within that essence of love, the 6 parameters are actually naturally included. They are naturally will arise from this state of love. So this is how we transform our ordinary love into the path of bodhicitta. And then if we don't do that, then even though we do have love for our families and friends and so on, ultimately, if we do not transform that into immeasurable love, then we are lacking the last parameter of wisdom. So then we are seeing a duality of self and other, and now temporarily, now we have to see that everyone has been one's parent. And when you see that, from that seeing, wisdom arises. And then from that, immeasurable love arises for them. But if we are fixated on the true existence of self and other, then the mind remains in a state of ignorance. And so now how we can transform from that state is that we really recognize that all beings have been someone very dear to me. For example, if you have a child and you're feeding your child, then you should think that every being in this entire universe has been my child, just like that. And if you think that in that moment you're feeding your child, then this act of giving becomes the generosity of giving to all sentient beings. So a very small virtue turns into a very, very great accumulation of merit. So merit is really something that comes from your mind. And so then if you know that, then you will be able to bring to mind all sentient beings, and in that way self-clinging will diminish and a real feeling will arise. So that's really very, very important. So we develop immeasurable love, and a method for that also is to understand karma and past and future life. So we really understand how everyone has been our parents. And so then our heart will open up. And when our heart opens up to all sentient beings, then we will be able to begin to understand that self and other actually do not exist. We are not separate. And then there is not much fixation to one's own country or another country or enemies and friends. We will not make all of these divisions any longer. And we will actually consider the so-called enemies or adversaries as more important. We will put them in the very beginning and cultivate love for them. Also understanding that in a previous life, they have been extremely kind to us, and now they arise as our enemy because we have not repaid their kindness. For example, how that happens is that there's a family that has children. They're very wealthy, and then the children often, they don't recognize the kindness of their parents. They don't even love their parents, and all they're really out for is to get the parents' money and their house, their possessions, and so on. So how does that make the parent feel? Then the parent feels that my own child doesn't love me. All they really want is my money and my possessions, my house, and so on. So they get extremely angry at their children. And they often get so angry that they feel that I'm not going to give anything to them. I'm rather spending my money on my cat or my dog. I'm not going to give them my money. So this is what happens to their mind. And then in this life already, they will be miserable, of course. But then not only in this life, but that kind of resentment then is the very cause of falling into hell. And then their stinginess is their cause of falling to the states of the hungry spirits. Their ignorance is the cause of falling into the animal realm. So they will never become liberated again from the three lower realms. And so that comes just from that resentment. So this is how the harm that is being created if we don't understand the causes originating in our own mind. So on the other hand, someone who understands the Dharma, for example, a wealthy person, would just think that let them do whatever they wish, I will remain in a state of equanimity. It's all the same. And if I'm rich, then I can contribute to the country. I can support a hospital or a school, build a school, and so on. And these kind of causes that are being created will bear great results in future lifetimes. And also you will perfect the paramita of generosity. So it's very important to clearly discern between the qualities of the good qualities of love and understanding the quality of love and the faults of not understanding those qualities. And so that's really a special quality of the Buddhist view. Through the Buddhist view, we can understand the preciousness of love. So that is the introduction, the teaching on that first point of love.
Tata, the Tissango song Tiore, Song Colo, Maison Sanchok Senso. Kangli also song job channel, something song job chegores, Parable Dra said, Hedang the Segores. Then some Zabel College, Hedang a Missy, Missy about the Mithila, Missy Sempty, Hedang the same Matana, young Juggle leg down the 남인 되어다 점수인 되어 될때 레드 펜네 단 잡을인데 다른 그 칼라사제 다저 파용을 다 독다 소샤를 전들이 세 샘지 좀 좋은 거요. 될 때는 단 잡을인데 되라고 차용 거요. 될 때는 가는지 삼지게 사지가 쓸 시당도 세고래. 시당도 세나 가르게 삼지가 세고래. 루바가 세고래서 데르티는 은혜에 하고나 들이면 참아서 약간 펜션 발라더니 나중에 냠바 살로동 들이 펜션이 와가더니 빼나 잡을린 거만 살로동 데이터 살로동네 들이 펜션 삼세가 들어왔지 나중에 냠바 따서정 데이터고 지나 들이 탑지 뭐 창집을 매나지 데이터 봤더니 세상도 세는 일 하고 삼세 거는 들이 문에 시에 탑 이어래 데르티 맞아서 저게 일단 답을인데 동에 밑직이나 소소 송이 매도 송 콜로 매동 사촉샘데 변했다 그런까지 홍담디 강리들 샘드 세와다 말아서 시람데 니마 삼지도 나와리 니마 나와니 잡을 세배야 되리 샘드 삼지도 가지고 말이스 샘드 삼지도 말아다더니 다tuk 사지 요거에서 이메와 착거에서 이메와 때 홍그에서 배나 데이터가 다 되리 그때에는 시당 참시 시당 최종 연능 약합 제부터 약합 거 빠나 매상 미거 빠이나 그리 라게 시당시는 삼지에서 탑도 제거해서
Then another instruction by Lord Chigten Somgen is the most powerful protection sphere is bodhicitta. And so what really protects you is your mind of love. So if you kill your enemy, for example, that will not eliminate the enemy. What really has to be eliminated or killed is your own hatred. So nowadays in this world, what countries and people are doing is they are killing with hatred, trying to destroy one another. But this can actually not happen because hatred has not been destroyed. And because hatred has not been destroyed, that karma will continue on. It will ripen into a full maturation, it will fully mature, and then there will be a result that is corresponding to the cause and so on. So karma will perpetuate, in other words. And so what people are doing nowadays, what countries are doing is they're even leaving aside their own sustenance, their food to eat and so on, and they're turning it all into poison and weapons. And they are destroying each other with nuclear weapons and so forth. So this is not how we are going to destroy our hatred in our mind, which has created all of that conflict. The Buddha had said you have to destroy your own hatred to destroy all enemies. And the way to do that, the way to kill your own hatred, is with love and with patience. And so based on that understanding, you should equalize self with others. Whatever you self need, others also need. You should have a concern for everyone else, for other people, those around you, and treat each other with compassion and love and kindness. So you should really hold that view of equalizing self with others and see everyone just like your family. And that is actually then a very easy method to destroy your own hatred. So that is your best protection. Your best protection is the protection of bodhicitta. And in the Drikung Kagyu lineage, that is also really, in essence, represented by the Drikung Kagyu logo that you have here. There is this logo that is the sun and the moon with the hung syllable in the center. And that really represents what we've just been talking about. The sun represents your wisdom, and the moon represents love, And together it is saying, do not separate your mind from love. And then if you never separate your mind from love, then you will ultimately attain enlightenment. You will realize non-duality. And this non-dual state is represented by the syllable Hong. So hatred arises in all kinds of forms. It arises between countries, it arises between people and so on. And the only way to eliminate it, to kill that hatred, is through love. It is said that the 84,000 Dharma teachings all are included within bodhicitta. And now when we speak about Dharma, it's not actually just that Dharma, like the Buddha Dharma, but Dharma is also something we call phenomena. All Dharmas are all phenomena of samsara and nirvana, or all activities of the world and also of the Dharma. So the Dharma, the way to understand Dharma is that it is the method to become free of all suffering and to achieve a state of happiness. So if you want to be happy, you have to create the causes for happiness. That's why we say, may beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. And the only cause of happiness is this immeasurable love. And that is what we need to recognize and identify with the Dharma. That is the Dharma. So the essence of Dharma is bodhicitta. And in Buddhism, we call it the precious bodhicitta. In other traditions, it is referred to in different ways. People speak about love, and they speak about kindness, and so on, and their good qualities. But that's the essence of the Dharma. And so here the key word is essence. Khenpo Sherab actually had said that now when we speak about the fivefold path of Mahamudra, then people might just think that this is a practice exclusive to the Drikung-Kagyu lineage. And they shouldn't think that, because when they see it in that way, then they would really not have much interest if they're from a different lineage. So he suggested that actually it shouldn't be called the fivefold path, but it should be called the five essences. Because it is really true, this fivefold path really are five essential points that have to be applied to any Dharma practice. And when you understand that, then those five essential points really can become very useful no matter what you practice. And they are also very easy to understand. And so in essence, the point of the essence of practice, the essential point in bodhicitta, is that we have to develop and then maintain state of love. That's really the essence of it. So that is why as we say the essence of the Dharma is bodhicitta. So this is how Khenpo Sherab had explained it.
There in the something you teach your David looked on my band, just look at the pena, painting something, touching sona, when the daughter George para something, touching sona, Machet Della, the Machet Jiva Chel, Jiva Yimala, Peno Toroso Charge, Jiva Lana, the rock Hashira, the knee, Mampo the data. The rock Hashira, the knee, daughter Yamdi, the Jackson Shadow, better something, the Debotini, the Zok Ziba, Green Jiva. Sama yi dong ni ba ma ga de do do so cha ma wo yo le di yong di ga le le ko to pin jin che wa me ba de ge sam zhe yo ba di yong di le so cha ka shi de ba la da to la so ni ji mi ji mo chung chung la dok da ni ko ba dang la de dok da no ba da ni di ji mi ji se go yo le ma se ta me ba se la ka le 문의주는 아주 맛에 타면 세고 코랑 세고요. 이완들한테 매일 참아라 누가 땅 참아라 되니 대결 뒤공지 해당거라서 늘 진짜 뒤송 송지 정지 계측 삼바라서 인소 대기가 남지 하고서 다 상무 양성도 딱지 뺐던 거요. 어따 정지 계측 삼바라서 대 독도도 봐도 세고 소자 탐지 무슨 일 듣고 봐요. 그래서 마세랑 세리 물을 못 초라 딴 거요. 독해. 코마세 니들 코랑 세고요. 속자 같이 속접지 거요. 코소 속접지 거. 코소 조디바 괜히바. 이동 참이 되는 경우게요. 이 코소 속접지 돼. 이 삼지 연디다 해당的차도 중 대다고 삼았다나. 삼지 중대 요나디 용디 요 체력 탐지는 좋아. 해당的차도 또 대시 요나 줄을 뒤누바 저 강이 강서 송나 탈통이냐 말이 되라서가 대답저 상모당 양당 야대 저대 상모당 준비를 상모당 준비는 상지 연진이 양당 양저지야 해당的차도 중대 양당 양저지 대기 치보요래.
So still one more point to be made about love now. So it is not just something that we speak about in a religious sense or in a Dharma sense, but actually also in a worldly sense, in a human sense. When, for example, between friends, when they have perfect love for one another, then in this life becomes meaningful together. And also in future lifetimes, they will be born as companions. For example, even if they're born as animals, there are some animals where many animals stay together peacefully, or two animals stay together, and there are certain animals where they spend their whole life together, and when one dies, then very soon after the other one also dies. So there are certain animals that have a very beautiful appearance and a beautiful voice, and they don't harm anyone, and everyone who sees them, it makes them happy, and so on. So when we see those animals, again, we have to remember that the quality of that is a quality of love. It is because they love each other. That's the quality. And for example, other animals like a scorpion or a poisonous snake are this small little insect that can cause a lot of harm with their poison. When you're walking, for example, and a scorpion stings you, it causes a lot of harm. And often you have no choice but to kill that animal. Not like you want to kill it, but often you have no choice. And what's actually really happening is that, in a sense, that animal is really killing itself. Because in this kind of incarnation, it causes a lot of harm to a human being, for example. And as such, it is a manifestation of hatred. Also, Lord Chigden Sumgön had said that the karmic ripening, it is the momentary ripening of the ripening of this inner thought, this inner state of mind that is momentary. So when I read this quote, then to me, an instant understanding arose. And then I kept thinking about this again and again. For example, in terms of the scorpion or the snake. So, of course, we know, for example, that if we kill that scorpion, then that's a negative thing to do. But often we have no choice because that scorpion is also causing a lot of harm with its poison to a precious human body. And then we could even die. And so in that sense, karmically seen, that scorpion or snake is really killing itself. And then there's other animals that we want to protect and we want to care for them. They are very beautiful and they have a nice voice and they make us smile when we see them and so on. And so karmically seeing, again, they are really protecting themselves in that sense. And that is the quality of love. So this is how you should think about the fault of anger and of jealousy and the quality of love. And even the slightest form of anger or jealousy in our mind causes that harm, becomes the cause for such harm. And ultimately, wherever you go, it causes a lot of harm. But ultimately, beyond this life now, it will plunge you into the lower states of existence, into hell and so on. So it's really a point that you should think about again and again. Really think about karma. When you think about karma, you should think about the qualities of love and especially the faults of anger and jealousy again and again. That's really very important.
산속섬 쪽보로 뛰니들이 소탈도 산신이지 저 망보로 뛰니들이 갈래 내가 돌리게 되와 된 사속 산지 공방 남슬린 걸 때라 산속섬 소상지 남들이 다 여담들 하고 봐 여담들 하고 막 하는 애들 상하게 누보 여담들 하도 그랬어 상하게 누보 송 그것이라고 그때 송 거래 때문에 여담들 하고 봐 송 프로젝트에 송 거래 상하게 누보지 봐 가래리 상하게 누보 따라 가래 핑거도 마따라 가래 핑거 바로 여담들 하고 맞나 정말 여담들 하고 야 망다 송라를 때문에 말을 됐다고 상고 요래 상하시 봐 동직도 요래 라 공고 가래리지 상하시 봐 소소가 물을 못 치는데 마음이 그 매도 사용 따위 봐 다매도 사용도 경무실 때는 매도 약보더라고 사용도 까부이제 그러고요 말말말 저 매도도 거에 매도도 가고 매도도 사용들이 내 가려서고요 말적인데 쳐는 요 사용의 쪽도 매도도 윤보되게 치 매도도 커도 같이 매도가 매도도 커도 저랑 쪽 막 같이 되고 라로요 내 말이 참 사용도 다 고져라 내 밑에 강원시는 매도 요래를 아래 대지 하고 다시 하고 매도 용띠 사원을 요바 하고서 들상하지 예담 잡차 망보요나 용띠 나 찍그래서 어디다 어디니 랑글 셈이와라 되니 산지고 고망 죽니 되니 용띠 중야 요래서 대라요래서 대라 상하게 누고 예담들 라서 대랑하 산이 안도 요래 상하되나 마시바 동하마고 봐 매도 고용띠 사원을 봐 하마고 봐 대상하
So the path, there's two paths that where one only practices bodhicitta. And so the path of individual liberation and bodhisattva path, through gradually developing bodhicitta, the mind will become matured in a gradual way over the course of several lifetimes. And so first one will attain the happy states of the higher realms temporarily, and finally one attains enlightenment. So that's the path of bodhicitta. And so then for the Vajrayana, and this is the second point here, that is the practice of the Yidam deity. And the essence of the secret mantra Vajrayana is the practice of the Yidam deity. And again, Khenpo Sherab had said it is the essence of the secret mantra. Otherwise, it is just said, this point is just called the practice of the Yidam deity. So the essence of the secret mantra is that, speaking about the essence, again, we have to understand now what's the whole point, what's the benefit, what's the essence of practicing a Yidam deity. And so not really knowing the essence then may make us think that it's just extremely complicated. There is just so many Yidam deities, too many deities, and each deity has their own mantra and so on. So essence is again a crucial point, because when we practice the secret mantra, we have to also be able to gather all this great diversity here into one single essential point. And that is the purpose of why are we practicing a Yidam deity. So the secret mantra is the reason why it is called that secret, is the secret mantra, is that there is something hidden there. So we have a precious human body, but we are in an unripe state. It is just like we are the seed of a flower, so we are unripe. And not recognizing that is the qualities of the flower are hidden from us, so we don't see the qualities of the flower in the seed. And not seeing that, we might think that the flower is what I want. The flower is beautiful. But then you just step on the seed and don't really consider it as precious. So then in the secret mantra, you're being told, don't do that. If you want the flower, you also want the seed. Don't destroy the seed if you want the flower. But rather take that seed and plant it into the ground and give it water and some time, and it will grow into a flower. And then you will have a flower for a long time. One other thing that people do is that they see the flower and they cut it, put it in a vase, in the water for a few days, and then it withers. So we have to be skillful in not destroying our flower. We have to protect our flower. And to do that, we have to protect the seed first of all. And then when we have the flower, we have to protect that flower, keep that flower. And so that is what the secret mantra introduces us to. It makes us see the qualities within the seed of the flower. So in other words, even though there are hundreds of different Yidam deities, they all have a single quality. And that is that when we practice the Yidam deity, it becomes a method for our body and mind to ripen, to become complete Buddhas, to ripen into the form emanations of a Buddha. All the qualities can arise from that. So that's the essence of the secret mantra. It is the Yidam deity practice. And the secret mantra is comprised of the older and the new tantric traditions. And so in any case, if one doesn't understand the essence of the secret mantra, it is just like not understanding the quality of a flower that is already present within the seed of the flower. So because it's in a way hidden, it is called the secret mantra.
Jabo yundeng sanji ge re yore semdi yin jimi ge jasa chu jabu po yina yang come to the jabu po tawe yina yang jabu po ge jasa sengo it jasa kang yin jimi ge jasa yin jimi ge jasa de seng ne ro kha ko gore sem khorang yin sanji ye bara kan jerme ba tile yin jimi ge jasa zungji tap kare ta san chok sem o Jao si fate ke yin chok thap go jambang chong go ras o je jemi tong ko to sa chok sa ba che mi ba go yo re ti sa ba che mi ba de na ti sin na ti ni ta tong dam sa chok sem je ni ti ra do le ti chuk ja sa thap 사지 탐철이 쪼가 남이 봐 예도는들이 저거니까 로컬을 쪼가게 습기 탐시 코가 맞아봐도 좋다 봐 사지도 예매 봤더니 차트고 요래 자사마 자좀 이제 자사마서는 마하도 건방만 되어서 어디 자사지 성나 들이 속기 매즈무라 탐지 그들이 배나 졸로 꽉채요래서 참아는 거 좁고 차로요래서 들루이 담들 하는 인조 대양 유는 보니 지체고래서 또 자사지 세고 제비 자사 삼바 세미바 들이 이제 세미바 들이 자사스나 들이 고도 산적 세고 자사세요나 자오들나 나선을 야방도 좋은 거요래 동담 산적 생활 돌아다니 레어 타고 동담 산적 생활 공방 토야 요래서
So the root verse for that point then says, unless if you do not stabilize your own body, the king of deities in the unchanging ground, then the retinue of Dakinis will not assemble. And so your own body is like a king, it is said, because it is the deity. And so what that means is that actually your mind is its nature is the Buddha. But it has to be stabilized in the unchanging ground, it says. And that means that even though you have this precious human body endowed with 6 elements and so on in this life, you have to also seize the kingdom of your king of bodies, of the Yidam deity. Stabilize it in the unchanging ground. And that means that you have to realize the nature of the mind, basically. So the basis of your mind is always as it is, and it never changes. And the method to actualize that, to realize that unchanging ground, to stabilize or to realize the unchanging ground, is bodhicitta. And if you have bodhicitta, then you are like this king who is seizing his kingdom and then is able to protect his subjects. So first you have to develop the relative bodhicitta of immeasurable love. That's the first kingdom that you're seizing. When you seize that kingdom of the relative bodhicitta, then from there the ultimate bodhicitta will arise. And then for your own purpose, you attain the kingdom of the Dharmakaya. And so here you are becoming indivisible from all the other Buddhas. And then for the benefit of others, you will manifest the 2 Rupakayas, the form emanations of the Nirmanakayas and Sambhogakayas, for as long as samsara exists. And you will be able to protect sentient beings, being indivisible from all the other Buddhas. So then it says when this unchanging ground is realized, the assembly of Dakinis will gather. So what that means is that then if you seize that kingdom of the unchanging ground now, then the humans, which are those with bodies, and the gods without bodies will all be there to support you, to be your to assist you in your activities, in accomplishing the benefit of beings. And then therefore it says, therefore apply yourself earnestly in the practice of the Yidam deity. So the most important, the first and foremost kingdom to be seized is that of immeasurable love. And from that immeasurable compassion arises. So you're seizing the kingdom of the relative bodhicitta, just like a king is protecting his subjects. And then as a result of that, you will seize the kingdom of the ultimate bodhicitta. You realize the ultimate bodhicitta, which is you attain the ultimate state of awakening.
Sangha Lango Bandila, Romba Dama di Sona, Nancy Lacur Covarchi, Sangha Jim Puzzle Sote, Sen Nang Nuku Tanji, Jelly, Taparis, Tapashiba di Mubodan Simmer, Takti Dinja Maiba, Jumata, Unity Yomaris, Nico Blower and Nawar, Napataba Mato Yomaris, 대 통화대 다좀 무보던 치만 진요 말에 대 다소 다낭지 대송거리 대 고대서 카고 요리 문의의 강리 저 탐치 집하고 선거들이 되주콜로 같이 송아 디나리 세낭 인성스 사트중 콜론들이 릉지르라 니다 됐다 했더니 적지 감 동자 특사만 보여리 장미봐 요리 난 뒤지 콜로 강리 가사 찍 평감진시들 적지나 대지 카카리를 찍그레스 송어당스 오 장미발에서는 고박그레스 대 찍을 따뜻했다 못한 것들이 나그 수평들 찍바 찍장 나벌리가 사강들이란 걸 리대 찍바 찍장 사강 특사만 보는 오 찍바 찍장 차대요 그래서 낭두지 콜로들 오 로직 도만 로직 도만 오 사강 특사만 보지 띵캄 장미방을 랑을 리대 찍바리 도만 로직 제 하고들이 랑 평강 깨지를 딱지 땅했더니 제 하고서나 제 민송했더니 인도 좀 홀로데 들 높게 두고 시간 저것들 놓고 시간 장미 봐 차용을 대사통자 승다외 타지 당차와 대다가들이 미나 대다가 차용을 사투 좀 홀로데 랑을 늘 창화하고 랑을 늘 창나 오 대상속서 민송나 이도 좀 홀로데 양전이 사지고 성신 강사함이 봐. 잘고 하고는들이 또냐서는 이제 상하냐면 드린 것도 뒤도다 하고는 들이 따상하 동안 하고 요래 선한 인선서 선한 인선 때서 골라오 소소를 때에 이편으로 쏘는 거 살성아
So in general now for the practice of the secret mantra, the deity yoga of the secret mantra, Jigong Kagyu Master Dhammaratsa had said that when you realize that everything that appears and exists is the divine form of the deity, then you have perfected the development stage of the secret mantra. And so that means that we have to recognize that everything that appears and exists, the entire universe and all beings are by nature pure. And when you understand that, then you will let go of the fixation, this belief in their concrete or substantial existence, and you will not label them with characteristics. You will not believe that they possess any true, stable existence from their own side. But you will see them just like an illusion, an illusory appearance. You will not think that they really inherently exist as entities. All of these appearances are just temporary, like clouds in the sky. And when the fixation to their true existence becomes purified, then there is no more belief in their true substantial existence, and a pure perception naturally arises. So speaking of it in those terms is maybe a little bit difficult to understand. There's one teaching I came across by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, a teaching on the color chakra, that I found very beneficial to understand this point. And so here His Holiness explained the color chakra in terms of its outer, inner, and other aspects. So the outer color chakra, that refers to the outer universe with the 4 continents and Mount Meru in the center. And then there is limitless, there's hundreds and thousands and an endless number of such universes. And so that's the outer color chakra. The inner color chakra is to realize then how all of that relates to one person, to oneself, one's own aggregates, sense sources, and elements. So one reflects then, am I as a person, as a being, separate from the universe, or am I one with the universe? And so it may seem that this universe is just endless. There is so much, so many universes, so many world systems. But then, even though there are so many, actually, in essence, they are the same as your own body. There is no difference at all between the universe and your own body. So the body, in this sense, becomes the microcosm of the outer universe. The outer universe is like a reflection of it. So even though it seems that there are millions of different world systems, they all are the same. So that's the inner color chakra. In the inner color chakra, we learn that a diversity has a single taste. So even though you have tens and thousands of world systems, they are the same as your own body. There's no difference. And so that you know when you look at your own aggregates, your elements, your sense sources. And so then, once you understand that, and then when you understand that that they can ripen, when they ripen, when your body and mind ripen, you ripen into this third aspect that is called the other color chakra. Now, when your aggregate sense sources and elements ripen, they ripen into the limitless pure lands of the Sambhogakayas and also the Dharmakaya that appear like a rainbow in the sky, clear and empty, and devoid of the two extremes. So this is what one ripens into ultimately, and that's the other color chakra. And the way in which one really ripens is with bodhicitta. With bodhicitta, one ripens into the other aspect of color chakra, and that is then the myriad appearances of the pure lands, the pure fields of the Buddha's three kayas. And so, to myself, I found that thinking of it in this way makes the meaning of the Vajrayana maybe a bit easier to understand. And this kind of understanding really is the starting point of Vajrayana practice. So to understand it in terms of the outer, inner, and other, it seems to be again easy to understand in a way starting point for the practice of the secret mantra.
Jimri kechik sabra sokis same kizures da jinjing lora tini da chungde da damro chungde be damro re there tini sonam chungde dong there sonam ke chechongul les oh there da chibari samni ga ha ko yo sammu chibari se dewan do ba chibari se dungem do ba chibari se 내가 제대로 찍발 샘 찍발이 하고나 난 이제 샘대 찍발이 야 니몽동아 찍발이 세당 찍발도 차 찍발 니몽동아 찍발이 미케 배사서 그 사소도서 니네 말이 같이 찍발이서 되게 되랑 하고 다 저기 찍발더니 다좀 돼 통신 쳐 보이고 오 다따랑 그 저지는 다 기지로 상아 당도 없이 진피적 대해서 훌훌차고도 대하고는 대화시바디 진피적 싸워하고는 대르진 다달래 눈을 쳐요 하고래 근데 고바자록 적발에 뼈는 잠버린 사강충보다 롱칸도 여기서 고바자는 롱칸도 그래 다다른 남도 연도 적고 통치 롱세리 섭도 삼모서 로직 토마트 로직을 토마 셈제적 사지생기 니쳐도 야, 로직, 도만 로직도 사진수지 셈내로 하고도 참아 찍찍 동반이 차려도 대다고 그런 싸모 땅, 다치도 시합 요래, 등상, 찍고는 싸모 땅 편수 조랑이 없고지. Trisanga Conde Tata, the kitchen was Sang Jinson, the Goni, Sonani, Doranche, or yes, the Tata Tam Yor.
So that's really a point that we have to think about very carefully. For example, when you look at a very small insect like an ant, so then here what you analyze is that is the ant and myself, a human being, the same or are we different? So you might think that if you say we are the same, that's a really stupid thing to say because clearly we are different. And if you think we are different, in a sense we are different, but then are we really different? Actually, the difference, the perceived difference here is a difference that comes about due to a difference in the causes that were being created. And so here again, we should remember the words of Lord Chigden Sumgön, that karma, like cause and effect, is the ripening, the momentary ripening of one's inner thought. So even though there is a difference in physical appearance, and we have to look at the mind. When the mind is clinging to a self, the more we cling to our self, the smaller we get. It is like becoming like contracted. We become contracted by this concept of a self. And the more we cling to this concept, the more contracted or smaller and smaller we get. And this contraction also is the same as contraction of one's merit. Merit becomes smaller and smaller. So basically the difference is one of merit. But the mind is really the same. What we want is the same. We want to be happy. We don't want to suffer. And what we do essentially also is the same. So when you understand that the mind, the basis of the mind within is really the same, you understand that the poisons, the 5 afflictive emotions are the same. Our anger is the same. Our desire is the same. What we do really essentially is the same. As human beings, we are accumulating money. The ant is accumulating earth and sticks and things like that. But we are accumulating things. We are working very hard and busily. So when you really think about it in terms of causes, then your regard for karma will become much more powerful. You will consider it with much greater care. So even right now, we can actually see how the mind becomes contracted. It narrows down further and further the more selfish we are. The more we think about me, ourselves, the more the mind becomes contracted. And the moment you care about others, you can really feel the release already and how relaxed the mind becomes. So even the slightest feeling of well-being like that, we can really see how it comes from altruism. And if you see that, you really understand karma in its essence. And for example, how we can also understand that everything is of the same nature. This planet, Earth, for example, is moving through space. It is moving. It's like a wind energy that is moving through space. And actually, that's the same thing that happens when we are walking around. We are this like body, this like a celestial body, moving through wind energy through space, like driven by wind energy moving through space. And nowadays also an airplane, that's what it is doing. It is also actually a quality of wind energy moving through space. So then we apply that to that concept we mentioned before. One taste appears as diversity, and diversity has one taste. So one taste here means that there is one basis of mind, and from that basis of mind, Buddhas and sentient beings all arise. So one basis manifests as a diversity. But then diversity has one taste, that is, even though there is this great diversity of appearances, it all comes down or arises from this one essential nature, that one mind, and that mind itself is empty. And so nowadays, all of you have a much greater degree of capacity of intelligence. So it's something that we can really understand. And you should really reflect upon this point and also discuss that with each other. That point on the essence of the secret mantra is really very important. So we understand the secret mantra in terms of its outer, inner, and other aspects. And that is something that you should really discuss with each other. So now then for this morning, we stop with the teachings.
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you. Odarama.